Welcome to Globe Lines, where we break down the biggest economic shifts shaping our world. Today, we're talking about something huge: Canada's unexpected power move that's shaking up North America's trade game. What started as Canada simply reacting to US trade pressures turned into a full-blown push for independence. They're not just keeping up, they're taking charge. With 18 major projects in mining, energy, and infrastructure getting the fast track, Canada is making big moves. Washington thought tariffs and trade tactics would keep Canada in check, but instead, it lit a fire under them, pushing them toward self-reliance. Now, this shift could send ripples through the global economy, changing the way trade works on a massive scale. Is the US slowly losing its economic edge over Canada for good? That's the big question. Let's break down the key moves that are shaking things up and reshaping Canada's economic future in a big way.
And in trading with other countries that face similar threats, the EU, the UK, countries in Asia.
The US trade strategy backfired, pushing Canada toward independence. When the US threw tariffs at Canada, the goal was clear: pressure them into compliance and boost American industries. But Canada didn't flinch. Instead, they doubled down on rebuilding their economy. For years, they leaned on US exports, but those tariffs, they were a wake-up call. British Columbia wasted no time, fast-tracking 18 major infrastructure projects across mining, energy, and logistics. Instead of waiting on Washington's terms, Canada is taking charge, investing in ports, pipelines, and new trade partners to secure its own economic future. The US tried to call the shots, but Canada is showing it doesn't need to play by their rules. In the middle of this trade tension, the rivalry between Canada and the US isn't just playing out in boardrooms. It's hitting the ice too. The recent Four Nations Face-Off final was a showdown, with Canada taking the win thanks to Connor McDavid's clutch overtime goal. Now, the big question is, does this signal that Canada isn't just winning in hockey, but also in the economic game? Before we dive in, do us a quick favor. Hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps us connect with more geopolitics fans like you. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Canada is rerouting pipelines, leaving the US out. Canada's oil and gas industry has been tied to the US for years, with most crude heading south for refining. But that's shifting fast. New east-west pipeline projects are making sure Canada keeps its energy at home instead of routing it through the US. These upgrades mean Canadian crude is now reaching local refineries and global markets without depending on American infrastructure. And it doesn't stop there. Canada is also going big on renewables, expanding wind, solar, and hydropower. Canada is building a stronger, more diverse energy grid, cutting reliance on US refineries and exports. This isn't just about energy independence. It's about stepping up as a big player on the global stage. Canada's mining boom is a bold move to strengthen its power. Canada's resource game is shifting. Oil and gas ruled the past, but the future is electric. With EV demand soaring, critical minerals like lithium, copper, and rare earth elements are more valuable than ever. China leads the supply chain, but Canada is fast-tracking mining projects to change that. By tapping into its massive reserves, Canada isn't just boosting local production, it's positioning itself as a top global supplier for clean energy and tech industries. If this plan works, Canada takes control, supplying what the world needs without relying on foreign players or trade barriers. Canada's ports and logistics upgrades are quietly reshaping the game. Pipelines and mining get all the attention, but Canada's ports are making big moves behind the scenes. With major investments in shore power and expanded capacity, the way goods flow in and out of the country is being completely reshaped. Shore power lets cargo ships run on clean electricity while docked, cutting emissions and costs. At the same time, major expansions at Vancouver and Prince Rupert ports are ramping up trade, making Canada a strong alternative to US shipping routes. The result? Faster exports, cheaper operations, and less reliance on American transport, putting Canada in charge of its global trade game. Canada's big move in green energy is setting up its future power game. Canada isn't just upgrading old energy systems. It's going all in on renewables. Wind and solar are growing fast, especially in remote areas needing stable power. In the last 5 years, solar capacity has jumped 92%, with nearly 96,000 installations nationwide. But this isn't just about going green, it's about economic stability, keeping Canada strong against oil price swings. With Europe and Asia seeking clean energy partners, Canada is stepping up as a key exporter of green tech and sustainable power. No longer just an oil giant, it's shifting toward a more diverse energy economy. Backing this move, the government has invested over $11 million in clean and alternative fuel technology, strengthening Canada's renewable future. Canada is rebuilding its infrastructure to power the future. Energy and mining are booming, but strong infrastructure is key to keeping things moving. That's why Canada is investing big in roads, railways, and digital networks. Since 2017, over $4.1 billion has gone into upgrading transport routes by land, air, and sea to strengthen trade at home and abroad. The payoff? Faster shipping, fewer delays, and smoother access to global markets. With infrastructure investments expected to top 300 billion Canadian dollars by 2025, Canada is gearing up to be a key player in global trade. One major project leading the charge is the Gordie Howe International Bridge, set to open in 2025. This new link between Detroit and Windsor will streamline traffic and boost cross-border trade like never before. Canada is expanding its trade game, looking beyond the US. Canada is making bold moves to expand trade beyond the US. While still a key partner, reliance on its southern neighbor is shrinking. New deals with Europe, Asia, and emerging markets are opening doors for energy, agriculture, and tech exports. By diversifying, Canada is strengthening its position on the global stage. Canada is making sure its economy isn't tied to Washington's decisions. Instead, it's forging its own path, and the world is watching. Will this bold strategy work? There are big hurdles: shifting trade dynamics, political resistance, and the massive challenge of making it all happen. The stakes are high, but if Canada pulls it off, it could shake off US economic influence and rise as a global powerhouse. What do you think? Is Canada making a power move or biting off more than it can chew? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit subscribe to Globe Lines for more expert takes. Stay tuned for our next geopolitics update. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.